Daily Life English Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome back to the Daily Life English Podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Sarah. We are so incredibly happy to have you here with us today. Whether you're relaxing on the couch right now, making dinner, or winding down after a long day, thank you for letting us be a part of your day.
Today, we are tackling a habit that leaves millions of people feeling guilty, tired, and unfulfilled every single night. We are talking about how to stop wasting your evenings.
Oh, Mark, this is a major modern problem. Think about it. You finish work or school at 5 or 6 p.m. You have roughly 4 to 5 hours before bed. That is a massive chunk of time. But for so many of us, those hours just disappear into a black hole of endless scrolling or watching TV shows we don't even care about.
Exactly. You blink and suddenly it's midnight, you're exhausted, and you feel like you've achieved absolutely nothing for yourself. Today, we want to share a story about how I completely lost control of my evenings, the wake-up call that changed everything, and practical ways you can spend your nights valuably.
I can't wait to hear this story because honestly, I think we all struggle with this. But before we get into it, let's look at a common English phrase we use for wasting time in the evening: to veg out. Mark, what does that mean?
To veg out means to relax and do absolutely nothing, behaving almost like a vegetable. For example, after a long day at the office, I just want to go home and veg out in front of the TV.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with doing that occasionally. We all need rest. But when vegging out becomes your default setting every single night, it stops being restful and starts being a waste of life.
Exactly. It becomes a mindless habit rather than intentional relaxation. And that brings me to my story. About a year ago, I was stuck in a terrible routine. I would come home from work around 6:30 p.m. feeling mentally drained. I would tell myself I'm just going to lie down and look at my phone for 5 minutes to unwind.
To unwind, that's a great phrase. It means to relax after a period of work or tension. But let me guess, those 5 minutes didn't stay 5 minutes.
Not even close, Sarah. 5 minutes turned into an hour. Then I'd order fast food because I didn't have time to cook. While eating, I'd turn on a streaming service and watch 3 episodes of a random show. By 11:30 p.m., my eyes were burning, my neck hurt, and I felt incredibly guilty. I did this every single night for months.
So what was the wake-up call? What made you stop?
It was a feature on my phone, actually. On Sunday morning, a notification popped up showing my weekly screen time report. It showed that I was spending an average of 3.5 hours every evening just on social media and video apps.
Wow, 3.5 hours a night?
I did the math, Sarah. Over a full year, that amounts to roughly 50 full days of my life spent staring at a tiny plastic screen looking at strangers' vacations. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was wishing for more time in my life to read, exercise, and learn languages, yet I was throwing away 50 days a year.
Hit me like a ton of bricks. That's a fantastic idiom. It means to surprise or shock someone very deeply with a sudden, powerful realization. And I completely understand why. When you see the actual numbers, you can't deny reality anymore.
Exactly. I realized that my evening wasn't actually relaxing me. I was waking up the next morning feeling just as tired because high stimulation screens ruin your sleep quality.
That is a medical fact. The blue light and constant dopamine hits from scrolling keep your brain wired. In English, when your brain is wired, it means it is highly stimulated, alert, and excited, the exact opposite of what you want before bed.
Right, so I decided to stage an intervention on my own life. I realized I couldn't just say, I will be disciplined tonight. As we talked about in a previous episode, you have to change your environment and reduce friction.
So what practical changes did you make to reclaim your nights?
Step number 1 was creating a digital sunset. At 8:30 p.m. every night, an alarm goes off on my phone. That is my cue to plug my phone into a charger in the living room, not the bedroom. The screens go dark.
Oh, that takes serious courage. Putting the phone in another room removes the temptation completely. What did you do with all that sudden free time?
In the beginning, it felt strange. The house was quiet and my brain was screaming for stimulation, but I had prepared for that. I replaced the bad habit with a good one by placing a book I actually wanted to read right on my pillow. I started cooking simple, fresh meals while listening to music. I even started stretching for 10 minutes.
That sounds incredibly peaceful. And what was the result?
Within just 2 weeks, I felt like a completely different person. I was reading a book a week, my sleep quality skyrocketed, but most importantly, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. When I went to bed, I didn't feel guilty. I felt satisfied because I had invested those hours into my health, my mind, and my personal growth.
That is the core message of today's topic. Your evenings are your own. Your daytime hours might belong to your boss, your school, or your clients, but your evenings belong to you. Wasting them on mindless algorithms is like throwing away cash.
Absolutely. We need to transition from passive consumption to active engagement. Passive consumption is letting an algorithm feed your brain rubbish. Active engagement is choosing an activity that nourishes you, like painting, practicing English, cooking, or having a deep conversation with a family member.
Let's do a quick recap of the main takeaways to help our listeners stop wasting their evenings starting tonight. Your evenings represent thousands of hours of hidden potential over a year. Watch out for the trap of vegging out mindlessly on your phone under the excuse of unwinding. Implement a digital sunset by putting your screens away at a specific time. Prepare alternative activities ahead of time. Leave a book, a journal, or an English lesson ready to go. Focus on active engagement rather than passive consumption to feel truly fulfilled.
A wonderful summary, Sarah. And now we have a direct challenge for everyone listening to our voices right now.
Yes, tonight, when you finish your main tasks for the day, choose a 1-hour window. During that hour, turn off your TV and put your phone in a drawer.
Spend that single hour doing something valuable. Read 5 pages of a book, write a journal entry in English, or cook a real meal. Notice how much slower and more peaceful time feels when you aren't chasing notifications.
We would absolutely love to hear how it goes, so please leave a comment below telling us what you did during your digital sunset hour tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Daily Life English podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share this video with someone who needs to reclaim their nights.
Be kind to your time, stop vegging out, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye, everyone.